I have a little bonus for you today, and that is some basic work and stretch from sitting on the floor. Now, I'm sitting all the way down in this cross-legged position, and I know that for people with tight hips and other issues, coming all the way down to the floor in itself is a flexibility challenge. If you are challenged in this position, I invite you to get a yoga block or something steady and firm to stack underneath your hips so that your hips are higher than your knees. Usually that will help with that whole issue, and then you can go ahead and start with us. Okay, so first of all, we're going to make sure that our sits bones are grounded down on the floor, and then also that the crown of our head is pointed up. So if your natural positioning is here, then I really want you to work today to get here. Top of the head up, ear over shoulder, over ribs, over hips, and drawing the belly button away from your thighs. And that's a rule for life as well. So these two body parts, they're not friends, they're repelling magnets. We want to pull the belly away from the thighs to keep the core muscles engaged. Pretend like you zipped up something one size too tight from the floor to your sternum. That's your core engagement. Your breath is into your lungs, which means that when you breathe in, you're expanding your rib cage while engaging your core and keeping everything strong in your exhale. If you need help on alignment, breathing, core engagement, that is the ABC method, and I have an entire series on the ABC method here on wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Instagram, what have you. So go through that method, because if you don't go through that method, you're not going to have the results. If you do go through the method, everything that you do after it will change and be more efficient. Okay, so we're up here and we're going to start with just some basic flexibility to get started. I want you to exhale to round the spine. Inhale to pull up tall. Remember to breathe. Exhale. Pull the navel up and in, really round that spine, get some space between the vertebrae. Inhale tall, exhale back, and inhale tall. Now we're gonna do what I call stirring the pot. So your spine is the spoon and your hips are the bowl, and we don't wanna rock the bowl. The bowl is gonna stay grounded, and you're just moving that spoon around the bowl. And notice that my ribs are staying up and forward, and that my tummy is pulling back and in. Okay, so I'm not pushing my belly out. I'm pulling it up and in and keeping it strong and adding mobility to the spine. Now go the other way. And shoulders stay down as well. So we want lots of space for shoulders, neck, and ears. And then come to the center, and let's do some light twisting here. So right arm comes up, reach, and then over to the left knee. Left arm comes around behind you. Sit nice and tall first. Breathe, tall. Exhale, light twist. I'm talking light. Don't crunch into this. Don't try to get as far as you can. This is not competitive. This is light. And come back around. Reach, other side, to the opposite knee. Arm comes up and around. Breathe tall first. Tall, tall, tall. Push up through the back top of your head. Exhale, light twist. And then come back around and to the center. Now, something else that I like to do from here is just a forward fold over bent legs. So keeping your legs just like this. Breathe up nice and tall. Exhale and fold over your bent legs with a flat back and belly pulling away from your legs. So keep the back flat. We're not going to collapse. We're going to keep the back flat and the shoulders back. And it might be a little extra love for your hips. Then come on up, and here's the tricky part. Switch which leg is in the front. This feels so awkward. Nice and tall, breathe. Exhale and fold with a flat back. Pressing the hips back and the head forward. Just see what kind of space you can find there. And then come on up. Are you ready for a little bit of work? These exercises are deceptively challenging. So let's start with just a single knee raise, hands behind the knees, body nice and tall. So you're sitting up on those sits bones, and then you're just gonna extend one leg at a time. So if you're struggling with knee issues, this exercise is to mobilize the muscles around your knee. It's also to stabilize your core. So in other words, when your leg comes up, you don't want to compensate by pressing the back. You want to keep that nice, strong posture. Now, if you're feeling like this is a breeze, I can do this all day, then you remove your hands. Maintain that good posture. Keep everything lifted nice and tall. Tummy pulled up and in. And then take your hands to your shin bones. Press shin bones and hands to each other. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, get nice and tall. Then take the legs out long in front of you. And this is our L-sit. So how is your L-sit looking? If your L-sit is like this, again, I invite you to sit on something higher so that your hips are higher than your knees. Also, if you cannot get these straight, just pop the knees, get them a little bit bent, because your posture is more important than having the straight legs. Always alignment, breathing, core engagement first. Draw the shoulders down and back. There's this much space between your knees that will line your legs up with the rest of your body. And then I want you to lightly put your hands by your sides. Now, if your arms are shorter than mine, you might also need a little something here. So you can put blocks or a rolled up towel or even books by your sides to give yourself a little extra support if you need it. But just make sure that you're not up here. Shoulders are down and back. Now, just look at your right foot. You're going to tell that right foot to lift and lower. You ready? Lift and lower. Okay, so while you're doing this, again, you're not compensating with posture. You're lifting the heart center, lifting the top of the head, and pulling the belly button away from your thighs. This is so challenging, deceptively challenging. 3, 2, 1. Okay, how did we do? Left side, take a look at it. Now, if your leg is not moving at all, if you're imagining that it is, then you're doing the work, okay? Here we go, lift and lower. So if your range of motion is nothing like mine or it's 0, that's okay. I want you to engage and ignite the muscles that would be working if you were doing this. And again, if your knees are bent, then you're more like here, and that's still doing the work. It is still doing the work. For 3, 2, 1, set it down. Good, shake those legs out for a second. All right, take them to a V. Take them to a V, maybe a little bit wider than a mat if you're in a yoga mat, and big toes are pointed up. Now we're gonna do another light twist exercise. Usually when I see this twist exercise, we pretend that we can twist all the way around, but instead I want you to keep the integrity of the shoulder alignment and keep the integrity of your posture so that when you're twisting, it's just a natural twist. So it's a twist. And then reach that arm forward, then breathe and come up. Exhale, twist. Reach that arm, breathe and come up. So this is a modified saw. It really helps us with the integrity of the spine, the core muscles, and the hips. So we're keeping those hips square, keeping the shoulders square. And we're thinking about the light twist, exhale, and then the reach keeps our spine nice and long instead of collapsing into it. And it's a nice exercise for all of those spinal muscles. You can just kind of feel them all doing something to help you and support your body. Let's do one more each side. Exhale as you twist, reach, and come up. Now, from here, we're gonna do your typical butterfly stretch. So just bring the bottoms of your feet in and kiss them to each other. Ease your knees down towards the ground and your head is up, your shoulders are back, your spine is nice and long. Hold your ankles or your toes, breathe and reach up. Exhale and fold with a flat back and shoulders down your spine. If you have the availability for it, reach those elbows towards the knees, but keep the back flat, send your hips back and the crown of your head forward. And if you have the availability, open the inside of the feet, and that can change the stretch for you. And come on up. Okay, so we're gonna come back to this position here, where we had our hands on our shin bones, shoulders back, pressing our hands on our shin bones against each other, causes a chain reaction of a lot of muscles to engage. It helps get our spine nice and long, it helps engage our core, and it helps our legs get strong as well. So we're gonna come up to our toes here. Maintain that alignment. So I was here, now I'm here. I didn't change anything, I just moved from heels to toes, okay? And then all I'm gonna do is just lift that toe and down, and I'm pressing my hand into that shin bone and really drawing the navel up and in, keeping that nice strong core engagement. Now, if you are a modifier, if you have diastasis recti, you must do one leg at a time, and you must keep your hands on your thighs. If you are past modifications or do not have diastasis recti, I invite you to keep that same engagement. Keep your thought on the belly, pulling it up and in. Release the hands, and then see what happens if you do both. Keeping that same nice engagement. And again, this is only for people not modifying, not with diastasis recti, because this is a lot for the core. 2 more. And 1. And reach the head forward, then round the spine back, reach the chest forward, and we're gonna go into a pigeon stretch. So to start a pigeon stretch, put one leg in front of you, swing the other leg behind you. Ease that knee forward and down. You're gonna stretch this back leg all the way back. So ease yourself over both legs and sort of adjust both legs until you can find the space for it. So we are not here, we are over both legs. The hips are forward. My hip bones are facing forward and down. And I'm easing the breath through my entire hip to loosen it up. Remember that your thigh and your belly are repelling magnets. So we're pulling that navel up and in, lengthening the spine through the crown of our head. And then if you want to come down to your elbows, do not drop your head, keep it in line with the rest of your body. Breathe into your hips. So what we're stretching is here, the IT band on the front leg, and here, the psoas on the back leg. Then roll out of it. So roll onto your hip, swing it around, and start on the other side. So we've got this little Z-sit first. We find our position, and then we start to stretch out that back leg. We get our body up over both sides. We ease the hips to press forward. We breathe into both legs, and then we come down a little bit if we want to. You can stay up if that's a better stretch for you. Come down if that's a better stretch for you. Adjust this front foot. So if you tuck the front foot under you, that's gonna be less intense, and if you bring that foot forward, it's gonna be more intense. And then roll yourself out of it. Okay, a couple spinal stretches and we're done. Exhale to roll the spine. Inhale, breathe. Exhale, roll. Inhale, breathe. Some surprising exercises today, right? So a little bit of strength and a lot of stretching. Sometimes we just need the extra flexibility, but we want a little bit of work in between. So I hope that felt really good to you today. Comment below what our next